and the wild card that nobody was expecting, Jett Lawrence. What are the odds of that? Cooper says, no, you go to 8. I'm going back to the top. Funny how the world works. And not only that, Drew Adams got the Kawasaki curse. Really loose topsoil, down he goes. Cole Davies remarks, don't get behind him. An overall win for Glendale. Red plate is given to him now. How he made that happen is beyond me. Basically was consistent. So here's the question. If consistency was key through 3 races in the same night and other people making mistakes, will he win with a single race? We'll find out. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to 180 Block Pass. Round 4 is complete. Glendale, the first Triple Crown, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Well, it might have disappointed some, but not all. Chase is back in the ring. I said if he wasn't gonna do something, show me something, I was counting him off. And he said, I'm here. You picked me for Anaheim 1 to win, and you were right for a reason. So there's that. Cooper Webb, slap in the face, said, I'm still here, Destiny. Look at me go. So I was wrong. I never said that I was 100% right. Never claimed that. Cole Davies got robbed by a tough block. JUJU's JUJU is gone, apparently. And Jett Lawrence got bit in the kneecap by a snake. And not only that, Drew Adams got the Kawasaki curse. What else is going to happen in this season? Well, Cooper Webb. He said, Glendale, you are no longer against me. You are for me. Watch this. Chase Sexton says, I'm not out of this thing. Don't count me out. I have proved myself. You said that I was going to win Anaheim 1, Destiny, for a reason, and here I am proving myself once again. We'll see if it sticks. So I might have been wrong, but I wasn't 100% wrong because Ken Roxon walked away with 3rd. That's something that I said. And I did say Jordan Smith was going to be back up there, but he proved me wrong, and he said, I'm taking it all. Watch this. Dad mode. Activate. Tomac waited a little too long to hit the beast mode button, coming in 1st in the 3rd round. But to be fair, Jett Lawrence came out quick after getting bit by something on the track, possibly a nerve. We don't know. It's now Monday at 3 o'clock. No updates. So here's the thing. Are they keeping that injury hush-hush? They don't want the competition to know. Or there's nothing to report. I guess we'll find out in Tampa. One thing we won't find out is if JUJU gets his mojo back, that he was, it was not great. He was making mistakes in qualifying, but he did get on top, so there's that. But he made multiple mistakes through the races, ultimately counting him out. So what we learned from the first race, the very beginning, is Cole Davies with that #1 position. I think Yamaha has paid for some interview lessons, because boy, did he get good at them quick. Right out of the gate, JUJU got the whole shot, but the mistakes of the night, that's where it began. Coming up on that first turn, went high up in the berm, no grip yet, really loose topsoil, down he goes. Cole Davies remarks, don't get behind him. In that first race, Smith was close, and I think he had long-term goals in mind, and he was not willing to risk it for the biscuit. Smith did try on that final lap through the whoops, got the momentum, but couldn't finish it in the turn, and Cole Davies comes out on top. And lastly, I did notice every time Smith got close, he got roosted hard, especially on that single hill where they were kind of coming over, going to the bottom, at least at the beginning. They were coming over the hill, kind of staying close and hitting the gas, and it would send that roost whoever was behind them. And then they'd jump, and then you'd see everyone tearing off. So there's that. And then towards the end of it, they just started jumping that thing as far as they could go because they found out it was faster, I guess. So before we get to the final results on the first race, what happened in the in-between time? Well, JUJU went down, and about 7 other guys went down behind him, which allowed him to get back up in position to 4th before the race was over. And I will say, even with the stellar performance of JUJU in his hometown, Grandma wasn't happy. It was past her bedtime. She says, why am I here? So we got 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, and Mosman is in front of JUJU, but by the end of it, JUJU goes in and gets that 4th position. Marchbanks also passing Mosman, so for the end result, it goes as follows. Cole Davies, Jordan Smith, Haiden Deegan, Julien Beaumer, Marchbanks, Mosman, Ross, Turner, Schock, Jett Reynolds ending in that top 10 with Albright right behind him. So now here we are in race 2 for the 250s, and Julien Beaumer out the gate has the whole shot again, but it does not last. Right behind him, we have Cole, Deegan, and Joe. Michael Mosman passes Deegan, and JUJU is in 13th place. With 4 minutes and 45 seconds now on the clock, Joe Shimoda has got himself in 6th place. So he has dropped down. JUJU has gone up in ranks, now at 9th, and Smith passed Mosman for 3rd. By the time we hit 2 laps to go, Cole Davies is 2 seconds ahead of Deegan and looking great. Jumps the finish line for the 2nd win of the night. Deegan gets the 2nd place. Smith gets 3rd. Mosman 4th. Ordon moves up to 5th. Joe in 6th. 7th is where Beaumer ends up being in. And 8th would be Cody Schock right behind him. Hunter, Yoda, and Marchbanks in 10th. During this round. Ross and Albright in 12th, somewhat staying consistent. So now we're in the 3rd race, and out of the gate, Michael Mosman gets the whole shot with Jordan Smith right behind him. Ordon up there in 3rd, Ross and Shimoda 5th, with Cody Schock right behind him. JUJU Beaumer buried a little bit in the pack in 9th, and Haiden Deegan buried even further in 13th position. And out of the gate, Cole Davies is robbed by the tough block in 16th position. By the time he gets up and gets going, he is dead last and the pack has left the building. Smith passes Mosman, starts to catch up to him right there head to head after the straightaway over that single, getting momentum in the rhythm and gets the inside lane on that turn. The whoops come into play and Smith is gone. But the lappers do appear. We got 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, and JUJU has got himself back up to 3rd. 20 seconds later, Deegan goes on the outside before the single jump, before the finish line, launches, and gets ahead of Joe Shimoda. So Jordan Smith gets the Triumph bike across the checkered flag for the first time for Triumph in their dirt bike history. JUJU Beaumer ends up getting 2nd place in the 3rd race, but it's not enough to make up all the mistakes made throughout the race day. So that leaves us with Michael Mosman in 3rd, Haiden Deegan in 4th, and Joe Shimoda in 5th. Then we have Marchbanks, Bordon, keeping himself in front of Cole Davies, who got the 8th position, launching off that single as well at the end of the race. Cody Schock, Kelly, and Ross. So what does this mean? It means the results goes as follow. Jordan Smith, being consistent, gets the win. Haiden Deegan gets 2nd. Cole Davies manages to keep the podium, getting 3rd. Julien Beaumer, despite all the setbacks and mistakes during the race, still places in 4th. Michael Mosman's consistency paid off, placing him in 5th. Marchbanks, Bordon, Cody Schock in 8th, Parker Ross in 9th, and Joe Shimoda stealing that last spot for top 10. And that's all she wrote for the 250. So at the beginning of the races, I noticed Cooper Webb on the gate, and he had this look in his eyes, and he just looked pissed. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this look. And you know what? I noticed it for a reason, because Cooper Webb came out swinging, and he says, I'm not done yet. Ricky Carmichael, Destiny for 180 block pass, don't put me as the wild card. Don't put me in 8th. I am here to play ball. Well, dirt bikes, but he's here to play, and he proved us all wrong. Maybe if Ricky didn't say it, I would have placed him in top 6, but I definitely wouldn't have placed him in the front. But good. That's good. I want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong. So out of the gate, Webb got up there 2 seconds ahead of everybody, with Malcolm Stewart behind him in the beginning, Hunter Lawrence, Jett Lawrence, Fernandez, and Roxon. Chase Sexton in 7th, McElrath, Lessinger, and Savachi in that 10th spot. So where are the rest of our favorite riders? Well, we have Tomac in 12th, Anderson right behind him in 13th, and Justin Cooper all the way down there in 17th. So now we got 10 minutes left on the clock. Both of the Lawrence brothers have passed Malcolm. Hunter still in the lead of Jett. Now we have Chase Sexton, who has jumped ahead of Roxon and Dylan Fernandez in 4th, leaving Roxon in 7th, and the other boys have not caught up yet. Anderson staying consistent in the 11th, but Tomac going down even further to 14th. Justin Cooper has come back up to 15th, leaving Justin Barsha all the way at the bottom for this race, with 10 minutes to go. Literally within the next minute, Dylan Fernandez has dropped down to 8th, putting Roxon back up, but not in front of Chase. So with about 2 minutes left to go, that battle that we wanted between Chase Sexton and Roxon, well, we got it. Through the rhythms and his line choices, Ken Roxon was launching that Suzuki, hitting those quads, hitting it big, but Chase ended up launching off that single, getting that momentum, which I don't understand how that worked, but it was working for everybody, and getting him in the inside after the finish line. After that final pass from Chase Sexton, he was gone. 6 seconds down eventually was the number between the two, and Chase held on to that 3rd position. For the rest of the fleet, Jett Lawrence stayed in 2nd, Hunter Lawrence went down to 5th, and Tomac was able to get to the 6th position. Malcolm Stewart dropping down to 7th, Fernandez in 9th, Anderson able to get up to the 11th, and Barsha able to get all the way back up to 12th. And Plessinger staying pretty consistent and staying in that 10th position. So in the final lap, Jett Lawrence went for it one more more time, see if he could get Cooper right there at that last single on the straight towards the finish. And the bike said, nope, too much throttle for this dirt, buddy. And he slid out. But he did have some insurance. There was no one really behind him in the moment, so he was able to secure that second position. So for race 1 for the 450 class goes as follows. Cooper, Webb, Jett Lawrence, Chase Sexton, Roczen, Hunter Lawrence, Eli, Malcolm, Justin Hill, Dylan Fernandez, and Aaron Plessinger, leaving Jason Anderson in 11th right out of that top 10. These guys were launching off these jumps. I don't know if it has something to do with just the ruts and being set up for a landing, or if scrubbing in this instance is not going to gain the amount of time you want, and just flying during half the track would do that better. I don't know. I do know I remember seeing, maybe it was Haiden trying to scrub over that one single that everyone was getting roosted on to see if that would help, and I don't know if it really did. It might be more effort, and maybe it was a endurance type of thing where you're trying to save your energy because you have 3 races to go through. I'm not really sure. But, I mean, these bikes were flying. So, in the second race, out of the gate, we had Jett Lawrence and Roczen fighting for the whole shot, and Roczen on top with the lead. Malcolm Stewart doing work again at the beginning of the race with the second position right up there at the top. Jett Lawrence behind him. Dylan Fernandez staying consistent, staying in the top, and Anderson coming out in 5th, so he did well off the gate for the most part. Barcia in 6th instead of dead last. That's good for him. Hunter Lawrence, not so good of a jump because he's in 7th, and Tomac in dead last. Sexton, who we know won the thing, is in 15th. So he put in some work during this race as well. Jett Lawrence passes Malcolm Stewart, hits him kind of hard on the inside. No harm done. Malcolm stays up. Apparently, he got a little crazy on the whoops and came in hot in that turn. At some point, we had Jason Anderson passing Jett, but Jett coming back and passing him right before the sand and through the sand. So we still have a good chunk of the race left with 10 minutes, 45 seconds on the clock, and Tomac is in 15th place, and Cooper Webb is nowhere to be found in this race, but still ahead of Tomac in the 11th position. Sexton in 8th, so he's moved up some. 5 minutes later, Sexton's in 3rd, and Tomac is right behind him in 4th, while Hunter Lawrence drops down to 10th, and Malcolm Stewart right in front of him in 9th. After Tomac trying to come back at Sexton through the whoops, Sexton on the inside, they both hit the rhythm lane. Tomac kind of comes in a little sideways, got kicked out a little bit, and they came real close, but ended up being all right. So Tomac wasn't able to get it done, wasn't able to get past Sexton, but Roczen, he was able to get it done. He stayed in 1st. Jett could not get past him, which I was happy about. Let me tell you, I was holding on to the couch like this. I said, oh, come on, please, go. And to the guy on Facebook commenting on something, I don't even know his name. It wasn't, it was just a random thing. He said, Ken Roczen can't win races anymore. Excuse me? He just won one. And he wins heat races all the time. But he just won a race with everybody in it. He didn't win the whole Triple Crown, but he still won a race. So, whoever you are, nobody likes you. Go away. Everyone, I bet you can't ride as good as Kenny. Yeah, because if he did, he'd be out there riding his dirt bike and not talking crap on a keyboard. But there's that. So the end results for race 2 goes as follows. Ken Roczen, Jett Lawrence, Sexton with 3rd, Tomac, Cooper Webb managing to get some positions in 5th, Jason Anderson in 6th, Aaron Plessinger going up to 7th, Dylan Fernandez, Hunter Lawrence, and Justin Hill ending that top 10. Malcolm getting the starts, but not being able to hang on there in 11th, which leads us to our final race for the 450s. So 3rd time's the charm, Hunter Lawrence out with the whole shot. Barcia going from the bottom of the pack to 2nd, and Chase Sexton right behind him. Plessinger moving up in 4th. Tomac out of the teens there in 5th, but still not great. And Jason Anderson being consistent with Tomac right behind him. Cooper Webb there in 7th. Justin Hill in 8th, and Roczen unfortunately not making it out of the gate this go around. They're in 9th, and McElrath in 10th. Stewart not getting a good launch out of the gate, and he's in 11th. And Jett Lawrence also in the teens. 13th to be Pacific. Justin Cooper in 16th. So Justin Cooper was not getting out of the gate this go around. I wonder what was up with that. We'll have to do some digging. Fernandez, also one who was up there in the pack, was in 15th. As Jett Lawrence is getting off the track after hyperextending his knee, not knowing what's going on, his brother is getting shut down by Chase Sexton going up on the inside, who is already past Barcia. We just didn't get to see that. And taking off. While the world is trying to figure out what in the world happened to Jett Lawrence, Tomac has officially flipped up the casing, pressed the red button, and beast mode has been initiated. Past Chase Sexton he goes. So with roughly 8 minutes to go, what does that leave us with? That leaves us with Tomac staying in the front, Chase Sexton behind, and Webb behind him, letting the world know it's not over and he's here to play. Hunter Lawrence dropped down to 4th, Barcia dropped down to 5th, Roczen moving slow, only up there in 7th, Anderson behind him, Malcolm behind him, Plessinger staying consistent in 10th, and Fernandez behind him in 11th. There was a good battle there between Justin Hill and Ken Roczen. Ken Roczen did shut the door on the inside though. Justin Hill goes for it again, ends up drifting to the right and in between the tough blocks, but does recover and keeps going. But Roczen is gone and staying in 6th. Final lap, Ken Roczen manages to get in 5th, passing Barcia. Ending that final race with these results: Eli, Chase Sexton, Webb in 3rd, Hunter in 4th, Ken Roczen in 5th, Justin Barcia in 6th, Hill in 7th, Jason Anderson in 8th. Bet you guys didn't see that coming for the wild card. And 9th, Plessinger. Leaving Jett Lawrence in the 21st, not dead last, but basically dead last. Ending the night with the final results as Chase Sexton with the first and overall win for Glendale. Red plate is given to him now. How he made that happen is beyond me. Basically was consistent. So here's the question. If consistency was key through 3 races in the same night and other people making mistakes, will he win with a single race? We'll find out. Cooper Webb showing his dominance, also staying consistent and winning first place in one of the races. Leads him in 2nd. Ken Roczen also, but leads him in 3rd. Considering how bad the starts were for Eli Tomac, he was still able to manage 4th position. Not quite a podium, but he's still in the game. Hunter Lawrence in 5th. Justin Hill finishing in 6th, which I think is pretty great for him. That shows that he is correct. He is in the best shape of his life because he did great. Jason Anderson in 7th. And the wild card that nobody was expecting, Jett Lawrence. What are the odds of that? Cooper says, no, you go to 8th. I'm going back to the top. Funny how the world works. Arian Plessinger ending up in 9th. Malcolm Stewart ending up in 10th. Even though he started out well, he still didn't finish well, which is a problem for Malcolm. He's not finishing. What is up with that? Why is that? Dylan Fernandez, Justin Barcia, and J. Coop ending up in 13th, which considering how he was last the most of the time, which is pretty good too. So that ends up round 4, Glendale, the first Triple Crown. We will see you guys there on the East Coast in Tampa. See you at the races.